Everything versus everything. Fight!
Hello, welcome to Everything versus Everything. This is fun, isn't it? Yeah.
Hi!
It's not weird at all saying that in a room with only one other person in
Yeah,
it.
no, everything versus everything.
But
Yeah.
wait, Alex, there's two voices.
No, how is this possible?
How is this possible?
What is this
What is-
black magic?
This is amazing technology.
Oh my
I
god.
believe it is called the internet.
It's in my head.
I like this thing, the internet.
So, who are these people? I'm Alex. That's who I am. But what about you, other person in the room with me?
Which one's in the room?
Oh, we could not reveal that.
No, I'm Heather. Nice to meet
Oh,
you.
okay.
Again, probably. Oh, I'm sorry, did I ruin it?
It's going to be a mystery. Like
Oh, okay.
they would never know which of them was in the room, which wasn't.
Oh, okay. We can just scrap that bit of the
That's
recording.
fine. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll live
You could
with
bleep it out.
Bleep it out.
True.
I'm beep.
Can't be bothered actually putting effort into the editing of this. That's not the point of
Yeah,
it.
fair enough.
So yeah, that was Heather, and who's the mystery voice?
Well, that is a mystery, but I shall reveal it. I'm Scott.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Nice to
I'm
meet
part
you.
of the enigmatic duo known as Aberdeen.
Aberdeen.
You're known as Aberdeen, even though you're not technically from Aberdeen.
No,
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
I'm a country bumpkin, really.
Well, it's good you can bring a unique perspective to the proceedings here today.
Hopefully.
Tell me a little bit about both of yourselves.
I hate when people ask me that.
Sorry.
Which means
Um,
you can go
okay.
first.
Thanks, Scott.
Welcome.
Well, what would you like to know? Would you like to know something weird or something boring?
Something weird, obviously.
Oh, okay. I wish I hadn't asked you that. 'cause
Yeah,
now I
you
can't
should-
think of anything. I don't really know what to say.
Heather, come on.
Blah.
Something boring then. Is there anything boring about you that you can say?
I don't really know. Scott, you
Wow.
go first.
Oh, right. Long walks on the beach. I love them.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah. Something interesting about me.
And it is the worst question to be asked, to be fair.
It is.
This can go at the bottom of the
I
list.
actually-
yeah,
This
that,
can
that is close to the bottom
I've
of the list.
considered bringing icebreakers as a thing, and they would be quite low down, but...
They're better than tell me about yourself.
Actually, I
I
might...
feel like I need to say something alternative to, well, my name's Heather, I'm 29 years old, and I live in Edinburgh.
Yeah. The worst thing is, like, I don't know if this is a common thing, but I've had it before where they're like, everyone pair up, and then you have to learn something about the person you're paired with, and
worst.
then say it to the group.
Yeah, that's a favourite
For
amongst
some
drama
reason,
groups
that's
and
like
things.
the most awkward thing to have to do, and I don't know why. It's even more awkward than talking about yourself, because you've got to like sell the other person as, yeah, they're great. They once like played snooker against Jeremy people. And
What? That is a good story.
that is
see?
actually, yeah, I've never
That's
had
actually
chance to
really
do that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That was a bad example.
See, I always think like, oh, that's an interesting thing I can say whenever I'm in that situation again. But then when you're in the situation, you can't think of anything.
No. It's impossible.
No.
It's literally impossible. Anyway, that's not even something that we're talking about today,
No,
unless
it's
we
not,
decide to
but
later.
we just added a little bonus in for you there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've just completely ruined my thing. That thing was playing snooker with Jeremy Beadle. I mean,
Oh, what are the
Sorry.
chances?
stop now.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
just pretend
Oh, well.
that conversation never happened. We'll move on. This was the beginning section. We'll pretend it never happened, and we'll go on to bring a thing.
Bring a thing!
Bring a thing. This is the first section of the show in which we all bring a thing, and it can be anything in the world. It doesn't have to fit any particular theme. Oh, I haven't actually explained what this podcast is for. We're trying to rank everything in the world in order from best to worst. That's it. So, who wants to bring the first thing today?
I'll go first.
Okay.
My thing that I am bringing, I've actually got a long list because I might have slightly overthought this, but
That's okay.
I'm going to go with one that I feel is the best amongst all of them, and that is, it goes by many names, but I know it as the grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good
yes.
choice.
It is a good choice. I feel maybe it could potentially be the top of the list, but we'll go into that.
Wow.
Right. My reasoning for that is because no two grilled cheese sandwiches are ever the same.
Is that true?
Is that true?
I
How
would
many
say
grilled
it's
cheese
true.
sandwiches have you sampled?
I've sampled many.
Okay, I'm getting that
I've sampled
impression.
many in my time. But because there's so many different types of cheese and so many different types of bread, there's like infinite combination choices.
True.
True.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And you can mix things with them.
Exactly.
There was actually a cheese toasty van downstairs at my work during the Fringe Festival, and they did things like macaroni cheese toasty, so much cheese in one piece of bread. I can't remember what else they had, but there was like fancy ones with like goat's cheese and spinach and all this kind of stuff. They were quite good. A little bit addictive.
Well, I mean, I had one for my lunch just then, and it had 4 types of cheese in it.
Wow.
4.
There's so many
You,
cheese
sir,
in my
are a
fridge.
fancy man.
Yes, it was Edam, Gouda, cheddar, and Parmesan, I think, as well.
God, it's just making me ashamed because I like to think of myself as a person who eats a lot of cheese sandwiches because I am. But I basically just eat non-cooked cheese sandwiches with the same kind of cheese every time and only one kind of cheese.
Maybe you
So
should branch out.
I should, shouldn't I?
Vary
Just-
it a bit.
I just saw the bag of Parmesan at the back of the fridge. I was like, oh my, this could be a game changer.
This
Wow.
could work. Was it,
It
a
was.
game changer?
It
okay.
was. Oh, it
I
was
might have to
lovely.
try this.
Oh my God.
I would highly recommend it. Yum, yum, yum.
Also, you do have the added benefit of, I don't know how you make your grilled cheese sandwiches, but I discovered this whilst living in Canada, that over there they do it where they like butter both sides of the bread before grilling it, so it's super buttery as well.
Yeah, that's
so
the
the
way
bits
I
that
do
are
it.
touching the grill get buttered too, because when I was wee I used to make cheese on toast, which is just cheese under the grill, which is so inferior, but you don't realise, do you? I mean, it's still good.
Yeah, that's the way I do it as well. Is I butter both sides, the sides that are on the outside, add the cheese in the middle, and then just put it on a really hot pan.
Yeah, that's
And
the
it
way
goes
to do
lovely
it.
and crispy and. Oh, it makes me want. It makes me. Can we pause and I can go and make another grilled cheese sandwich?
Yeah, sure. I
This
mean, that
isn't
would
fair
be the
because now we
ultimate
can't have
endorsement.
any.
You'll just hear me on the other end like, oh yeah.
Do you know
Right,
the
right.
ingredients for one here, Heather?
I have plenty of cheese. I actually don't have any bread right now.
What?
Though. I know.
It's the best food, though.
Yeah, I don't have any bread.
It's just carbs in a block, basically. It's the best thing.
Yeah, good bread is quite wonderful. I feel like though if you have bread that's too good, it's almost ruined by putting too much on it.
That's true, and I feel like a charlatan. I don't know if that's the right term, really. I feel like a fraud and a disappointment, and like I'm letting myself down just because. Oh dear,
Why do you feel like a charlatan?
having a crisis here.
Yeah, I know.
I'd never grill sandwiches, and I eat cheese sandwiches all the time, and I never bother actually cooking them.
It is an extra step of effort. Because to me, a cheese sandwich is like I can't be bothered making anything else kind of food.
I guess it is, and I guess
Yeah.
that says something about me. That is every meal for me, basically.
Maybe we should buy you a recipe book for your Christmas or something.
Maybe. I'd never use it though. Yeah, even grilled cheese sandwiches are too much effort.
But it's that little bit of effort that makes it so much more.
It does make it exponentially better for the small amount of effort. That's true.
And if you pair it with like a nice hot bowl of tomato soup,
Oh, you know, I was talking about this recently. The only context in which I really enjoy tomato soup is where if you also have a cheese sandwich or grilled cheese. I don't know why.
Soup is
It's
just
too
much better eaten by scooping. This is a bit of a tangent, but it's much better eaten with bread than it is with a spoon.
oh yeah.
Yes.
It's
yeah,
infinitely more delicious.
definitely.
I mean, there's a
Why?
soup. I work at an Italian restaurant, which I shan't name because other ones are available. And on the set
not
menu,
impartial.
it comes with a pumpkin soup. But on the set menu, it doesn't come with bread. So if I put the soup down in front of them, and they look at me like, "Where's the bread?"
That's
Yeah,
not right.
that's just wrong.
I know. I feel bad every time,
Can you not speak to them about it?
but I have to. That's my job.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like the management though, kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
just
like-
demand that they change that practice.
Well, hopefully they do.
Yeah, anyway, I don't want to get you in any trouble, so let's move
it's
on
fine.
from
Yeah,
that.
a bit controversial there. Ooh.
Oh, do you have the list in front of you, by the way?
I do indeed. Yes.
Oh, cool. So you know what the order of things is at the moment.
Yes.
Oh, I might
And-
see a few spoilers here because I haven't watched
Yeah,
listened to the last
That's
episode.
true.
but
There were
that's
spoilers
okay.
for the last few that we recorded here. But where would you say that it should go, and we'll work from there. I know
Well,
you're very enthusiastic about it, and
I am. I mean, I'm not going to put it above water because water people do need to survive.
True.
I could go without a cheese toasty or a grilled cheese sandwich if it meant I needed some water.
True.
But,
Oh, I just had to Google what a pangolin is, and I have a degree in zoology.
Oh, good. I'm glad we weren't the only ones who didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're lovely.
You can hear all about pangolins
I'll listen
on
to
our
the last
third episode,
Okay.
which isn't uploaded as we record this. We're doing it in a very timey-wimey sort of way where we're not...
wibbly wobbly.
Yes.
Okay. Personally, I would put grilled cheese sandwiches above Switzerland, but not above New York City.
Okay.
Because I do love New York. I love that city.
What about you, Heather?
I don't think it can go above the compass, though, can it?
Everyone holds the compass in such high esteem. And I've got complaints from Gavin. He messaged me saying the compass is way too high up. So he's just going to be baffled by everyone's love of the compass.
It facilitates movement around the world. Like, wait.
So does grilled cheese sandwich. You sustain yourself with it. It fuels you, allows you to move around
For
and
the
continue to
compass,
live.
maybe we wouldn't have discovered the grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
I'm sure they would have
famously,
found another way
Marco
to
Polo
find countries.
discovered the grilled cheese sandwich.
Yes.
Christopher Columbus discovered one just lying there as he came up to the shores of New America.
Yeah, I'm sure I read that in the history books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in the history books.
Yeah.
So Heather, you're saying not above the compass.
I feel like
Scott,
I can't
you're
go
saying
with compass.
above Switzerland, but not above New York.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I personally I would put it lower than that just because if it was that great, I would bother to make them more. That's a very self-centered argument.
That's a fair point, though.
That's the only one that I have.
I think I would place it in between the Eurovision Song Contest and cocktails.
Well, I would say that then as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. That's more probably in the area where I might place it. As long as you don't object too strongly, Scott. We'll place it there at number 11.
We're so diplomatic. Look at this. Not an argument yet.
We had a few arguments on the last
Who
couple
was
of
on the
episodes.
last
Val and Mark.
Oh, I'm excited to listen to this.
Oh,
Yeah.
so am I.
Mostly between Val and Mark.
I can imagine. But Val has so much enthusiasm for everything. How did she pick?
I know.
Yeah. She brought
I mean,
some good
Heather,
things.
you remember her at the top of the Space Needle?
Yes, it was
Oh.
beautiful.
She does like space, not to spoil
Yeah,
who brought
that's
certain
true.
things. She is a space enthusiast. Okay, so who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
You can go next, Heather.
My thing I'm bringing to the table is country music.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
I
This
went
is-
there.
Oh, no.
So I'm choosing country music because it's fun. Like it's I was gonna say it's inoffensive, but it's so not inoffensive.
Some of it is
The
literally...
melodies
Some of it is
are
quite
inoffensive.
offensive.
The lyrics are generally a bit misogynistic and well, I don't know. I think it's just fun, and you can also play fun games like we played on our road trip where. On the digital radio, it comes up with the name of the track. We had it on the country music station, and you have to try and guess what the song lyrics will be about from the title,
Oh, wow.
which is surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really fun game, so you can do that. It depends what kind of country music, I suppose, because you've got the old style country music where it's all like farming in the fields and my wife left me and stuff, and yeah, and nowadays it's all like women in wee dresses and beer. And trucks. I like it. I'm gonna go there. I like country music.
Yeah, something about you has changed in the past few years. And one of the main differences is that now you like country music, and I don't quite...
I think I've
changed,
maybe
Heather.
embraced it. I was brought up around a lot of country music, and I just started listening to it more over the past few years. You know what I think it was? When I was working in the pet shop, we got really sick of mainstream radio because they played the same things over and over again. And the country music station actually had a bit of variety on it. So Amanda, my coworker, and I used to listen to it all the time when the boss was out.
Okay.
That's right, we're rebels.
Ooh, some people steal from the till, you listen to country
Yeah,
music.
exactly.
I love it.
It's one of those things where I guess the melody is sometimes quite sort of jaunty and fun.
Yeah.
It's mostly the whole association with it that puts me off.
Yeah, I'm not big on the associations.
It's probably bad. I should probably be a bit more open-minded and not stereotype the sort of people who sing and listen to country music, but it does bring to mind...
You weren't listening to any of the music that we heard, Alex. It was all the same lyrics all the time.
It is all the same lyrics. You could pretty much play country music bingo.
Rising and a cold beer and my best gal. Times 17.
This is coming from the man who actually likes the song Truck Yeah.
Hey, Truck Yeah is a good song.
See?
It's by the wonderful Tim McGraw.
There
I
you
would
go.
advise anyone who's listening to this to look up that song immediately.
There's quite a few things like that where we had a few in the last couple of episodes as well where I feel like I could probably enjoy it for a little while, but if I kept listening to it forever, it would
Too much of it
make me
grates.
It
insane.
would start to grate
I
a bit.
agree. You can't listen to it for extended periods of time.
Yes.
And I do have the conflict of being a fairly liberal feminist type, and the lyrics are generally a bit, but plenty of music's like that, so I'm not going to get too hung up on it.
Well,
It's fun to make fun of.
Oh, yeah.
we have to take into account here as part of our assessment of it, though. Like that's something that you should
That's
definitely
true.
be
Yes.
bearing in mind as we decide where to place it. If you really are a feminist, as you say, this will be the
You
true
claim
test.
to be.
We claim to
This will
be.
be the true test of that here.
Yeah, I suppose. It's a
Like-
tricky one.
I mean,
Mind you, not all country music is like that as well, just a lot of it.
not all country music is created equal.
Hashtag not all country music.
Hashtag not all country music.
I think it would be
Okay,
quite
well.
fitting to put it right next to American radio stations.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we already do have that on there, and they're probably
Yeah.
quite intertwined in some ways. And that was another thing that it was Mark that brought that, and he had some internal conflicts about how he felt about American radio stations as
Yeah.
well. So I think they are quite similar in some ways.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe we could put it around there,
I think it should be.
unless you want to.
No, it
nudge it
should
up
be.
or
It
down
should
a
be
bit,
close
Heather.
there. I'm not sure if it should be above or below it. What else do we have? Old book smell and party
Old book
blues.
smells a good smell, though.
It is a good smell. Well, it definitely shouldn't be above that.
I prefer it over gift wrapping.
Yeah,
I don't like gift wrapping at all.
it's just something I find inoffensive. I think maybe just above American radio stations.
I defer to you.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the music is probably the more enjoyable part of American radio stations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More so than their like crazy conservative rants or whatever
Yeah,
they do
that's
on there.
true.
That's just what I imagine. Sorry, I'm stereotyping
Pretty
again here.
Terrible prank calls as well, where you're just like, that's not nice.
No, they're not nice at all.
Okay, I'll put it above American radio stations then.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yay, okay.
Huzzah.
So that's both of your things now. I have one, and mine today is something that you're both familiar with, the 48-hour film project. Yes.
Oh, this is going to be difficult to rank.
It is, but I want to talk about it because I don't feel like enough people know about it, and this podcast has a listenership that's literally more than just us. So
Literally.
it's actually, I don't know that anyone who hasn't been in our team in the 48-hour film project has listened to this podcast yet. But regardless, yes, it's an event that takes place every year. Actually, it takes place all year round, basically, in different cities around the world. What happens is that people sign up to it in teams of filmmakers, amateur or otherwise, and they get a brief at the beginning of the 48-hour period. It usually happens over a weekend, and in that brief is a genre, a prop, a character and a line of dialogue, and you have to make a film in the space of 48 hours that contains all of those things and hand it in before the 48 hours are up, and then they get screened at little screening in your city, and if you're lucky you win best film in the city and you go off to a big festival in America. And we've done that a couple times now, which is awesome. If you want to check out our films, we're Beyond Studios. Go on YouTube and look at us.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. We
You
need to be
wouldn't regret it
shameless.
though.
Plug. Hashtag plug.
Cross-pollination of brands here.
Hashtag spawn.
Yes. So yeah, we have entered the 48-hour film project quite a few times now.
Quite a
We haven't
few,
won
yeah.
every time, I should point out.
Oh, no.
No, very much not, especially the first time. But yes, it's always fun. I really enjoy doing it. It's sometimes very stressful and makes me a bit insane, but
think
it's
we've all
always
been
worth
there.
it afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that you're always glad that you did it afterwards, even if you're not glad that you're doing it while you're staying up all night writing
kind of like
a
a
script.
mountain climb, like a really steep
Yes.
mountain climb, where while you're halfway there, you're like, oh my gosh, why did I agree to this? And then you get to the top and you're like, let's do it again.
Yes, exactly. Maybe not when you get to the top. It's when you're safely at home again in the warm and you're looking at the photo of yourself up there and you're like, that was fun when we went up there. Even though when you were taking the photo, you were like, we're never doing this again.
Why did we do this again?
Yeah, that was really scary, Scott. Okay, so Scott's been possessed. We'll just have to work with this. Yeah, I think the first time we did it, we all had quite a... we all stayed up for about, I think, 52 hours on the trot or something. I had the most sleep out of everyone, which was 3 hours. And we were all grumpy and hungry and tired, and it was something. But it was also fun. But it was one of those things where you talk about it 4 years afterwards and go, oh, never again.
Yes, I have a vivid
And then we did it
memory
again.
of being in Heather's old flat with my forehead like resting on the kitchen table and just glued there with sweat and not... like almost getting to sleep but not quite, and then like peeling my face off the table and getting back to work writing a song about squirrels. And yeah, that was...
And it was a masterpiece.
And then feeling so sick in the morning because I hadn't slept at all, and all I had eaten was those bacon rasher flavour crisps and drunk like 4 cans of Red Bull.
See, I discovered that I can't drink Red Bull during that shoot. Because
Yes,
I remember
don't do
Daniel's
that.
dad gave me some and was like, oh, it'll help. And it was on the day when I was just so sleep deprived, and it pushed me past the point of sleep deprivation to shaky, want to throw up.
I was in that state for much of that thing. But if you know what you're getting into and you don't just have an absurd amount of faith in your ability to stay up all night and be fine in the morning, which I did the first time because I hadn't really done it before, then it'll be fun. And yeah, everyone should do it, I think.
Nowadays we're a lot more organised with the way we structure it, so like I do get a bit of a skive compared to a lot of people. Like Alex, because he generally writes them, stays up all night, and then we saunter in the morning, do a bit of acting, have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else has a bit of a harder job than I do when I'm doing it. So I have a slightly different experience of the whole thing, but it's awesome. It's so much fun.
I really like it. It's a nice little community as well, because when you go to the screening after it's all over, you see all the other people's films with the same elements in them and how they used them as compared to how you used them. It's sort of, I don't know, there's a sort of a feeling of shared experience there, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it is, even though it's technically a competition, it's not really as competitive in a traditional sense, because it's quite a nice community more than anything
people
else.
talk to each other and it's nice, even
a
though
lot
I'm
supportive
not great at
atmosphere.
talking to people, so I used to just like stand there and look awkward, but yeah, it's fun.
There's lots of
You should
other
do
people
it.
who do that too, though.
Talk to me and make me feel uncomfortable.
You did the Aberdeen one for a while, didn't you, Scott?
Yeah, we did it for, I didn't take part in our first one because I was working, unfortunately, but the group that me and Andrew, the other half of Aberdeen, our little group called Screen Grab, they won years 1 and 2 of Aberdeen consecutively.
Wow.
And I'll always like the 40 hour because that's how we were all brought together.
Yeah. Well, I was talking
Because we
about that.
came to Atlanta and met you guys there through the 40 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we haven't even mentioned that.
Yeah.
So basically, we'd won the Edinburgh one, and Scott and Andy, who's the other half of Aberdeen, had won the Aberdeen one, and we ended up. We were both at Filmapalooza, which is the big event in America where the winners of each city go and have their films screened, and we met there. That was the first time that we met.
Yeah.
So jet-setty. Met in Atlanta, Georgia.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very much an anomaly in my life. Like, that was the most rock and roll time for me ever. Like it felt more like I was successful in my life than I've ever felt before, because we were staying in quite a fancy hotel. We got a big discount on it, and we were like on the top floor of it, and there were glass walls, and
Swirling
just
a cocktail.
having a drink in my hand, like wearing a shirt, which I never usually do, and standing in front of that window just with the nighttime skyline of Atlanta
It
behind
was quite
you.
magical.
Like it's the most like I've felt like my life is a success, and then everything on
Yes.
either side of that has just been like.
I feel like everyone had
Not
that
lived up
feeling
to
from
it
the
at all.
Atlanta one. It did feel very much like they were treating you as if you were like the most
I
successful
know.
people ever.
It's a
and
great fleeting illusion of,
yeah.
of being important somehow in the world. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's my pitch for why 48-hour film project is good, and you should do it if you're listening to this.
It's a lot
Even
of
if you don't know how to make a film, that didn't stop us the first time that we did it.
No, it didn't. It certainly didn't.
Yeah, we should have known because we'd done it
And,
before, but we somehow completely.
We got the genre of
Messed
musical to top it off. So.
Yeah. If you get musical, then my advice is record whatever songs you're doing before you start shooting, and then play them back. Don't try and like fake sing them on the day without actually having a recording of them to go along with it, because that will not work.
Because then
out
you'll
well.
end up wanting to cry in the recording studio 48 hours into it, a cappella singing over the top of the edit.
Yes.
Oh no.
Anyway, that's probably enough of our own experience. Yeah.
We were young and foolish. It's okay. We learned.
Yeah, we sort of did. So, where should we put it on the list? I don't know. This is very tricky.
Okay.
I kind of want to put it quite high just because it's
Yeah.
important to me, but like I know that
Yeah.
most people in the world probably haven't even heard of it.
It's fair.
That's not really a reason to knock it down, but
That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
that, everybody who's going to be on this podcast probably it's going to be quite high up for them because it is something we all.
yes,
do
it's a
together,
highlight
something
of my
that brought us
year,
together.
and what jumps out at me looking at the list right now is the Eurovision Song Contest, and I think the 48-hour for me is a much
Yes.
bigger highlight of the year than the Eurovision Song Contest.
Definitely.
So I would put it above that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe further up though. I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably put it above Having Good Teeth as well. I don't know why that's so high up. I mean, it's nice and
So
everything.
we're all a little
but
bit vain. That's why.
yeah, maybe between Pangolins and Having Good Teeth or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I still feel bad about pangolins. They were partly put there through guilt because I felt bad because we were making them endangered by hunting them.
Oh, little things. But it's okay because they're number 8 on our list. Of
Yeah, exactly.
things in the
This
world.
was to make up for that.
And then pangolins will look at that list and then realise, compass?
Yeah, that's true. It's not. There's not much logic to this, really. Don't read too much into it. Okay. I would probably put it just below pangolins.
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone okay with that?
I'm
For where
cool
to
with
place
that.
it?
I agree.
Yes.
Yay!
Done.
Yay.
So that is the end of our first segment. Bring a thing. We brought our things. Woo! So next up, we have a section called Cram Session, where we pick a thing that we don't know very much about, and we research it for 5 minutes, and then we reconvene and we decide where to place it on our list. And today's thing is just a random thing that I thought might be fun. It's the year 1866.
1866.
Yes.
Oh.
So we're going to spend 5 minutes researching 1866 and then come back and talk about it. Okay, that's the 5 minutes up, and we have learned everything that there is to know about the year 1866.
We are most wise now.
Yes, indeed. And well, what can we say about it? How do you summarise?
Well, I
A
looked
year.
specifically at
How do you
scientific
measure
discoveries.
measure a year?
How about
Love?
Yes. So I looked specifically at scientific discoveries because it was interesting, and I found my favourite fact of the year, which is that Robert John Lechmere Guppy discovered the guppy fish in Trinidad.
Okay,
Yeah.
the guppy fish
Yeah.
discovery.
Yeah.
That's a good fact.
Yeah, that I have
That's
those in
gotta
my
be a
tank
plus.
right now.
Guppy fish.
Yeah. Also, Gregor Mendel published his Laws of Inheritance, which if you've done even standard grade biology, you'll have to have used as Punnett squares and things to work out.
Okay, those both sound like good things.
Yeah.
Probably for the world.
They're definitely good things.
Unless
to
you're a
know.
guppy, in which case you might have been like you've basically been enslaved by
Yeah.
humanity and kept as
It's
pets
true.
since that day forth. So
Yeah, that's kind of also an interesting one for genetics too.
Can't say I've heard of a guppy fish.
They're very colourful and they give live birth, so you can kind of see evolution happening in the tank as well. So they're quite easy to breed.
lovely.
So if you get like 2 different colours, you'll see what happens when they reproduce, what kind of offspring they have.
Oh, it's quite interesting, actually. More interesting than their name lets on.
Yeah, no, it is a funny name.
It is a funny name.
Scott, have you got anything to say about 1866?
I found out about 3 things. One, that the Canadian Parliament actually met for the first time on June 8th, 1866. They met in Ottawa.
Be a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. Also, 1866 was the first daylight bank robbery during peacetime, which was believed to be committed by Jesse James.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Well,
But
it's probably not cool if you worked at the bank, I guess.
yeah,
But
they just weren't expecting it. It was the first time it happened. However, my favourite one I found out was Alfred Nobel invented dynamite
oh,
in 1866.
that could
That's
be a
cool.
good or a bad thing, I guess, depending on your perspective.
It's always amazed me why he's now the Nobel Peace Prize was named after him.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing actually. I never even thought of that.
Yeah,
Oh, was it? Am I right in saying that?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Hold on, now we're all going to have to fact check so we don't look
Oh
stupid.
dear.
Hold on.
And then cut this bit out. Right.
Hashtag alternative facts.
Fake news.
A couple of writers were born in 1866. Beatrix Potter, creator of Peter
really?
Rabbit.
I never knew that.
Also H.G. Wells, the famous sci-fi writer who wrote some very good
wow.
books, including War of the Worlds, The Time Machine, and such. Yeah, I would say those are probably positive things overall. Also, historical event that comes up immediately on Google if you Google what happened in 1866, as I did in desperation. It says, March 13, the United States Congress overwhelmingly passes the Civil Rights Act of 1866, the first federal legislation to protect the rights of African Americans.
Wow, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
US President Andrew Johnson vetoes the bill on March 27th, but Congress overrides the veto on April 9th. Yeah, so even then presidents were being horrible and them getting overridden by other people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I never realised the Human Rights Bill was that long
Civil
ago.
rights.
Civil
Yeah.
rights, sorry.
Well,
Yeah, so that was 1866, March 13th,
Wow.
which seems like a good thing.
absolutely.
I mean,
Be better if they're a bit
Certainly
more
does.
proactive about it, but it's still a thing, it's something.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that's worth celebrating the year for. Has anyone worked out if the Nobel Prize was named after Alfred Nobel?
Oh no, I've gone down the Wikipedia rabbit hole now.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
Cadbury's first sell cocoa for drinking. There you go. That's a UK specific
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
Nobel Prizes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he bequeathed his fortune. Oh wow. Yeah. I think I'd heard this before. It was after reading a premature obituary of himself, which condemned him for profiting from the sales of arms. He bequeathed his fortune to institute the Nobel Prizes.
Wow.
So he basically bought good publicity by having the Nobel Prizes named after him because he was worried that he was going to go down in history as a horrible
The guy
person
who invented dynamite.
Yeah,
Wow.
and sold arms and stuff. So, wow, that's interesting.
There you go.
It's a bit of a
It's one way
tangent,
to
but-
get people to
I
like
never
you.
knew that.
So learn, it's an educational podcast, this as well. It's just a
I feel so
nonsense.
enlightened.
I do as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to know where to place the whole year of 1866 on this list. I mean, it seems like mostly good things happened there, unless we just missed
Apart
something
from
huge.
the cholera epidemic in England, which killed 5,000 people.
Oh, okay. Way to drop that
I know,
bombshell
right?
on us.
Sorry.
Clang.
Okay, well that's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess trouble with doing years is probably that there's so much good and bad in each year that
That's
no matter
very
where you
true.
put it, it's going to be wrong in one way or the other. So maybe somewhere in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably safest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in the middle at the moment?
Well, we
Coffee pods.
Yeah. So 1866 goes somewhere around coffee pods. Seems like it should go
Yeah.
higher, really, just for sheer importance to the world.
1866. Better than old book smell, but not as good as new book smell.
Oh, there's a new book smell as well. Gosh.
Yes.
And any thoughts, Heather?
I'm finding this one difficult because there's just so many good
Yeah.
and bad things in the one year.
I might put it higher, actually. I might put it
Okay.
personally, I might put it above New Book Smell, under the Loch Ness Monster, maybe.
Yeah, alright. Yeah.
That's a good area.
Yeah,
Because
that's
the Loch Ness Monster never, as far as we know, has never killed anyone. It might have
As
done.
far as we know. It's
Yeah.
true. Maybe it's just really good at covering it up.
Possibly.
Okay, There we go. So that was cram session. Whew. Yeah, maybe we don't do any more years after that. We'll see. Maybe someday. But yes, now we move on to the last main segment of the show, and it's called The Thing About That. Today's The Thing About That is about animals.
Oh.
So, we only have one animal on our list so far, and that is the humble pangolin.
And half of us didn't know what they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, true. I guess there's a one that's about a dog, but that's not just dogs in general. Yeah, who wants to be the first to present their animal for inspection?
Well, I was first for Bringer Thing, so you go first for this one, Heather.
Okay, I'm still swinging between two, but I'm going to go with cats.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be controversial.
It's going to be controversial,
always,
which is why I've picked
it's always
it.
a divisive topic.
It is.
Especially
we have had one interrupting us through this entire podcast.
He is doing his best to ruin any hopes he had of being shown in a good light.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all been friendly interruptions, but he has been somewhat disruptive. Yeah, I really like cats, and I can understand why people don't. That's the thing. Because they can be quite... It depends on the cat, obviously, but they can be quite aloof. They're fairly independent animals. They're not pack animals, so they're not all that interested in humans all the time. But sometimes they are, and it's lovely. So I like them because they're not too needy.
Yeah.
And they fit my lifestyle better than a dog would right now. Yes, see, he agrees. Thank you, Loki.
You're talking about me?
Right on time. This is actually my sister's cat who's interrupting right now. And yeah, I think they make really lovely pets. And I think a lot of the time, if they are little monsters, it's perhaps not always the cat's fault, because traditionally people try and train them like you would train dogs.
Was that a pun?
What?
Perhaps.
Oh. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So yeah, and with dogs you can be a bit more strict on them. You do have to tell them off a wee bit if they're bad sometimes. But with cats, if you take that approach, you will pretty much end up with a nasty, bitey, scratchy cat. Not all the time, but they do respond better to positive reinforcement. So I think it's not necessarily cats' fault that sometimes they're just a bit misunderstood. They're basically the alphabas of the cat world. The animal world, sorry.
The what?
Like the Wicked Witch of the West. They're just misunderstood. They're not really evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never seen The Wizard of Oz.
Well, I'm not sure that was a particularly helpful metaphor anyway, so...
No, it wasn't.
Well...
Thanks.
I like cats. I've had cats my whole life, so it's hard to be objective about them because I've basically grown up with them. They're like members of the family, kind of. Yeah, they're usually less friendly than dogs in terms of when they're meeting new people, but I can totally relate to that. I'm definitely, in terms of my own personality, more like a cat because I take a lot longer to get to know people, but when I do, I'm quite sort of loyal. And I mean, cats can be needy in their own way. I quite often get followed around the house by cats, and they quite often just will end up in the same room as me, like more often than they would by chance. They like being around people, they just don't really sort of make it as obvious as dogs do.
Yeah.
Dogs want to be everyone's best friend, and that can be fun for a while. But like with country music, I feel like dogs in small doses are better. I mean, I guess they settle down after a while, but some of them don't. Some of them are just always
I feel I should also
going
qualify
nuts.
my statements about cats with the fact that I do really like dogs as well. I don't think
I
I
like
can pick
dogs
between
too.
them.
Yeah.
I like dogs, but I'm more biased towards cats because I have them and always have. I've had dogs as well, but I like both.
I
But
kind of like their cheeky side. Like, oh, look at you knocking things off the table for fun.
yeah,
Like, it's funny. Like, they're not doing any harm, really.
they're about the right size for a pet as well. Like dogs can be
Yeah.
too big. Cats are kind of just the right size. You can kind of hug them, but they don't get in the way too much. Well, they do sometimes. But
If they choose to.
Yeah.
I woke up
Yeah.
this morning with him sitting on my chest, poking my face. Gently. There were no claws, but there was certainly some poking going on there.
I thought that was just a stereotype thing that people made up. Do they actually do that?
No,
Oh,
he
they
actually
definitely
does
do
that.
that, yeah.
If I don't wake up in time to feed him his breakfast at 6:15 exactly, you get the face poke.
yeah, I shared my room with a kitten for a while who would wake me up by biting my face in the middle of the night.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So they do have their annoying side sometimes.
Yes.
But they're just being playful usually.
Usually.
Yeah.
Usually.
Not
They're
really
not plotting.
intended. Also, they will. Something we should take into account is they will eat you if you die.
That's
Apparently,
true, actually.
whereas dogs apparently won't.
But also,
Nope.
I mean, you're dead anyway.
I know it's more practical. I would
Yeah.
say, like
I
cats.
don't blame them for that.
Yeah, cats are
If
more
you could see
self-sufficient
the
in.
face I'm making.
I'm not saying I would eat the cat if it died, or I would eat you if you died, but
Thanks.
I wouldn't feel bad if I wouldn't feel bad that a cat would eat me if I were dead, because I'm dead. I'm not going to notice. Also, the downside here is they do shed everywhere.
They shed. They sometimes pee in places they shouldn't, but hopefully you can usually train them out of that. And they occasionally hunt things if you let them out. So I've found dead mice in my house before. So
Lovely.
there are downsides to them, certainly.
What do you think, Scott? Are you a cat man?
No, I'm not. I'm a dog
didn't
person,
think you were.
really. No, I mean, I have had cats in my house in the past. My next door neighbour, they would always be away. And they had two cats, one called Chloe, one called Safi. And like Chloe was very timid and she was nice and she would love a good stroke, and Safi was just the exact opposite, where she'd claw you if you even looked at her normally. But I'm more of a dog person, but I can see the appeal of cats.
Yeah,
But I just prefer dogs because they're nice.
that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. Maybe it's just because I've been around cats for so long that I've got used to their sulky and like antisocial ways. But
Yeah.
and I guess I relate to that more. So yeah, Heather, you're the one who brought them. Where would you say you would place them in the list?
Okay.
And then we can work from there.
I think that they will have to be above pangolins and below Switzerland, I suppose. I've never been to Switzerland, so I
Okay.
can't really make much
Well,
of a
I mean,
judgment on that one.
I haven't either, but I could still. Personally, I would put cats probably quite high, like
Above 1984.
yeah,
Oh.
maybe above compasses, but I don't think I'm gonna.
The Holy Compass.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna win that fight. Seeing as Scott's more of a dog person and Heather is, you've got a slightly more detached and realistic attitude to cats
Yeah.
than I have.
Well.
I just like them a lot.
I think I'm like that with any pets I have. Like, I could have snails and be like, snails are the best pets ever.
So maybe above pangolins would be the place for them then.
Yeah.
If that's where you were putting them. Okay. Yeah, pangolins are all well and good, but I've never actually like cuddled a pangolin.
That's true.
I'm gonna give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna look what a pangolin is because I've never heard of it until this point.
Yeah, neither had I.
Yeah, it was a cram session subject.
Oh,
we
I
had to learn about it.
see.
I didn't really know what they were. I just googled obscure animals and then it came up with that.
Oh, that thing! Oh.
That
Yeah,
thing.
it's like a cross between an armadillo, an anteater, and a dragon.
Oh, that sounds so
Oh, they
nice.
look cool.
Yeah, they are. So my animal that I'm bringing is spiders.
Oh, that's oh.
Because I was very scared of spiders until last year, and I'm still a bit scared of spiders, but nowhere near as much as I was. And the reason is that I went to a workshop to deal with spider phobia at the local zoo, which is Edinburgh Zoo.
Was it not run by my pal that works there? Or-
Yeah, it's run by one of
Yeah.
Heather's friends, actually. Yeah, I used to just absolutely hate them and run screaming from the room when I saw one. Now I don't really do that. I get a bit jumpy when I'm trying to catch them, but I can catch them now more easily. Like I caught a really big one like last week, I think it was. There was one in the kitchen that was just massive, and I would have not gone near it before, but I managed to catch it by hitting the thing it was sitting on until it moved, and then because it was doing that thing that they do, which is really annoying, which is they sit on corners
oh yeah.
so that you can't catch them easily.
That's why they do it. They know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just found them absolutely terrifying, and it would be traumatic. I'd sometimes just see one and then like I'd find myself outside the room and be like, how did I get out of here? Oh yeah, I saw a spider and just ran, and my brain just blanked
Oh my
for
god.
a few seconds. So yeah, it was unhealthy. There were times when I moved out of my room because there was a spider in it.
I remember you saying
There were times when I couldn't use the bathroom and I went out in the garden instead because there was a spider in the bathroom. There were times when I didn't go to university because there was a spider in the bath and I couldn't have a shower. So it was getting in
That's
the way of
pretty
my
bad.
life.
Yeah.
they were just horrible. They're just like, their legs are just all crawly and I can't describe it. I've inherited the fear from my mum, I think, basically. But I went to this thing at Edinburgh Zoo and we got sort of hypnotherapy, and then we went to another room where they had spiders, and I held one, and it was scary. It was scary before it touched me, and as soon as it touched me, I was like, oh, okay. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't kill you.
It tickles a bit.
It doesn't even really tickle that much. Like, I expected it to tickle more than it did. Like, it was a big house spider of the kind that I really was scared of before that, and I just put my hand into this like Tupperware container where they had it, and it ran over. They tried to get it to run over my hand. One thing you learn about spiders when you start trying to pick them up is they really, really don't want to be picked up. No. So if you're scared of spiders, know that they don't want to be near you. They really, really don't. Yeah. Like, if you ever actually try and pick one up, it's just so reluctant to touch you.
That's true.
But yeah, eventually it got on my hand and it got kind of stressed out, and I felt sorry for it. And I feel a lot more at peace with them now, even though they still make me jump when I see them first. But
I think that's a fairly normal evolutionary trait for humans, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've kind of made my peace with them, and I'm okay with them now, so I wouldn't put them too low on the list. But how do you two feel about spiders?
An impressive amount of progress for one workshop. I feel that they've never particularly bothered me to a massive degree. Like, I wasn't the kind of person who'd be like, actually, no, that's a lie. Like, when I was wee, I was the kind of kid who would go out and play with bugs, and I'd bring bugs into the house, and I'd have like a tank that I keep my spiders in or something like that. Like, but I didn't 100% love picking them up, but I think I've just been a bit desensitized to it. Was bigger spiders scared me a bit more, but then I lived in Costa Rica for a while, and after living there you kind of just have to get used to them.
Yeah.
So like I worked in a wildlife park, and I had to go down the path to the main bit. I was going to say building, it was basically a hut, every morning with a broom and brush down the spider webs that the banana spiders had made the night before, and these things were like the size of my hand. So and they weren't poisonous, they'd bite and it would hurt if you got bitten, but I didn't. So yeah, I think being around things like that and other more scary things like massive snakes that would actually kill you and things like that, you're like, you know what, this little spider isn't so bad. It's a sense of perspective, but obviously that's just come from being privileged enough in my life to be able to travel abroad. So
yeah,
I quite like them. They interest me. As long as I don't feel like they're going to jump on me at any point, I'm fine.
I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of them. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of them at all, but they don't bother me. Like you, Alex, I used to be quite scared of them, but I've just gotten used to them over the time. Like, I used to be really, really scared of them when I was a kid, and I've just sort of gotten more and more used to the fact that they're here as well. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So we just sort of have to
you do
cohabitate.
have to accept that. Like,
that's true.
And we learned a bit about them at the workshop as well. They give a little talk about them and how they're the ones you get in the UK anyway are completely harmless. Even the ones that like overseas that have a reputation for being really dangerous are not actually that dangerous compared to most things. Like, the number of fatal spider bites is very low compared to almost everything else that can kill you.
Yeah.
So there's not really a reason to be scared of them. And I was at the point where I was trying to find some solution to stop spiders getting in my house or something, but there's no way of doing it.
Yeah, it's impossible. Isn't it?
Like, you just kind of have to learn to deal with them, and I'm glad that I'm slightly better at dealing with them now. But yeah, they're actually quite useful in some ways in that they eat other insects, which tend to actually be more harmful.
More of a pest.
Like, they're more of a pest. Yeah. Flies are more of a pest than spiders, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be okay with putting them not too low, not too high, because they are kind of terrifying. Like, they're sort of the most alien-looking thing. Or one of the more alien-looking things that you get in your house on a regular basis. A lot of people do have a problem with them, and I totally sympathise with that. So I might put them below old book smell, above country music.
Yeah, they can be above country music.
Is that okay?
I'm fine with that. They contribute more to society than country music does.
Agreed.
Sorry, Nashville.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You ever seen a country singer swat hundreds of flies.
That's what they do when they're in between recording albums. They just sit and sweep up.
Okay, so we've done spiders and cats.
Yep.
Now
Next.
we're on to Scott's thing, I guess.
Yes. Well, I was, believe it or not, I was actually going to bring dogs.
Oh.
But I've changed my mind.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
instead going to bring red pandas into the mix.
Oh, okay.
Because A, they're adorable.
Yes.
B, have you seen them? They're amazing. And C, I actually live close to some.
What?
Because,
Where?
Edinburgh. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually quite close.
Yes,
And there's some up in Aviemore as well.
Oh.
In the Highland Wildlife Park.
Indeed.
Oh, I never knew that.
So I went to Edinburgh Zoo a couple of weeks ago for the first time in absolutely years. I think the first time I went was when I was 4. Mm-hmm. And apparently I ran off and they found me next to the penguins. That's another story for
Doesn't
another
surprise
time.
me all that much.
No. But, like, the first thing you see when you come in is the meerkats. And behind the meerkats are 2 red pandas.
Aww.
And I fell in love. And
They are
they're so
lovely.
amazing. It's just their faces and their long tails. And... just thinking about them is making me giddy.
Yeah. They look like cartoon characters.
They
They
do,
do.
actually, yeah. I imagine them being like in an anime or something. Just their big eyes.
Yeah, that's quite accurate, I would say, actually.
Yeah.
They're bigger than I thought they would be as well.
They're huggable size.
Oh, definitely.
They might try and bite you if you hug them, but I don't know what their temperament's like.
I mean, both of the ones at Edinburgh were quite chilled out. There was one that just stayed up in the very highest point for the entire time that I was there. And there was one that was just running about everywhere, which way it went.
That's
I
lovely.
think its name was Bruce.
Bruce the red panda.
Yeah.
Maybe they've changed it now, but they've traditionally been in one of those enclosures at Edinburgh Zoo where you're like, how do they not
Yeah.
get out of there?
It is,
I remember
yeah.
them being in one of those ones.
Yeah,
So
it's just
it means we could
short
get in
wall,
these.
and they're climbing trees right next to it, and I don't
Yeah.
really understand why they don't just run, like
I don't
jump.
know.
and
Maybe they're just
flee.
not very good at jumping tiny fences.
Maybe.
Either that or they're just very trustworthy.
Yeah, maybe.
They are.
Should be
Aw.
another reason
Yeah,
to
that's another reason to like them.
like them.
They've signed a contract.
I'm trying to read up on them quickly because I don't
Signed
actually know
Bruce
very much
Red
about
Panda.
them.
It's just a paw print.
Aww,
Oh.
that's lovely. I want to go to the zoo now. Yeah, I can't say I know a huge amount about red pandas actually, other than the fact that they're fluffy and absolutely adorable.
Yeah. Apparently they're really endangered.
Yeah.
Oh no, not another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do the pangolin thing of putting them high up just because I feel bad. Feel
no.
like humanity owes them something.
Put them right up underwater and above NASA.
I just found a funny red panda compilation on YouTube. That's
It's
dangerous.
the best thing.
Is it? I might have to watch that afterwards.
I would highly recommend it.
They're a little bit raccoon-like, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, but they're cuter than trash pandas.
Oh, I love trash pandas. They're little monsters and I love them.
I like their second album, not their.
Weren't more progressive.
Are they in the same family? I'll look this up.
It's just that one video that always gets me. It's like there's 2 of them just nibbling away at some food, and then a human, I'm assuming it's a zookeeper, just appears behind them and he absolutely goes, ah! And falls back. Oh.
Oh, okay, I'll need to look up this adorable video you speak of.
I've lost hours to that video.
Okay, well that's a good argument for them.
It's classed as endangered by the IUCN because its population is estimated to be less than 10,000. Oh, no.
Aw,
Red pandas.
dear. Yeah, it does feel like we owe them a spot high up
Okay,
the
so it
list.
has previously been placed in the raccoon and bear families.
It,
but
look,
because
it
of
definitely
how
looks a
genetic
lot more like a
analysis, they
raccoon than
changed
it does a panda.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got its own family now though.
Huh. When we were down at the zoo as well, we saw the big panda, and it's massive. So I don't
I've
understand
never
why
seen the
they're
panda
the
there.
same name. Well, I mean, we didn't really see him. He was hidden behind a...
I don't think
small hill.
its name really has much to do with it though, does it?
Yeah, probably just because they look similar.
It's got its own family.
Ah,
So do the weasel, raccoon and skunk, but they're part of the super family. I'm guessing it's mustelids.
oh.
Yeah, musteloids. So they're sort of closely related. They do
So
look quite huggable.
They do.
What's your feeling on where they should go on the list? Like, are they better than pangolins, which are the other endangered animal that we don't really have much contact with?
Well, my
Fuzzier
question
than
is...
pangolins.
Yes, can you hug a pangolin?
It's true.
You could, but they're quite scaly and spiky, so they might not be fun.
Oh, it feels so wrong doing this. It's like, why do we conserve the cute fluffy animals over the ugly ones kind of debate. I would put it above the pangolin, but only because I don't know much about them. And maybe that's unfair on the pangolin.
Maybe, but I mean, if pangolins were so great, you'd think their PR would be better.
Well, I suppose you got a point there.
Yep.
Maybe, okay, above pangolins then, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not put them above cats, but how do you two feel about that?
I don't know. I wouldn't put them above cats, but just because I have more contact with cats.
Yeah, that's true. It's like some sort of human bias, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're always going to bring that to this.
We've sort of managed to domesticate cats to a degree, but we haven't really tried with red pandas.
Maybe we have, you don't know that.
Well,
someone might
true.
have tried.
Someone might have. Maybe I will.
Who knows?
Could be the first. But until then, I think they should go below cats, personally.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll go with a consensus.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all our new things for today.
We contributed.
We did. We made
know.
progress. We now have a list of 41 things.
Oh my god.
And we should probably read through it. Oh no, before we do that, we have another segment to do, which is Nudges and Grudges, which is where we...
What's that?
No.
You haven't heard the second episode, obviously. 'cause
No.
that is where we each get the chance to nudge something up one place or grudge it down one place. And we can do that with anything that we choose, but we only get one nudge or grudge.
Okay.
It's like a veto almost.
Yeah. Basically, we can move something one place. Doesn't do much when the list is this long, but it's better than nothing. Anyone got any?
I would put straws above breakfast in bed because I don't like breakfast in bed and I quite enjoy a straw with my drink, especially if I'm wearing lipstick.
It's a very strange thing to have such a strong
Well,
opinion about.
I'm
but
feeling
okay.
strongly about this today.
Okay, straws get nudged up above breakfast in bed.
That
There we
breakfast
go.
in bed.
Scott, have you got anything? Anything jump out at you from the list that's wrong?
When a dog follows in it isn't your dog, I say that should go up one because any dog following me is an amazing situation.
It is amazing, I agree.
You're right, that is a nuanced one. It's not a downright negative situation.
Yeah, I would put that above loose change on the street. I'm with you on that.
Okay, so Scott, your nudge goes to nudging up the dog situation.
Yay.
Okay, I also have an opportunity. I am going to nudge up Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban above cocktails because
Yeah, it's fair
one,
enough.
I don't drink,
Yeah.
and two, I love Harry Potter. So there we go. I think I nudged it last time as well. I think it's probably be a theme here. But yes, there we
Slowly
go.
working its way to the top.
We're adding new stuff faster than I'm nudging it up the list, though. So
Okay,
it's
that's
not really going to end up at the top, I don't think.
Unless you purposely pick terrible topics.
That's true. I would never do that.
Nope.
Huh. Anyway, yes, so now we have the order of things, where we run through the order of things. This might be the last time that we do this on the actual podcast. I have an idea for how we do this in future, because the list is getting too long to necessarily read out every single time. So what I'm thinking is that in future, we will do that as sub-episodes.
Ooh.
Every few episodes, we will have a sub-episode where someone reads out the whole list.
Could we do it like the Poke Rap?
Oh my god,
At
yes.
some point. Well, I don't really know what that is, but okay.
Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Venusaur, Rattata, Fearow, Pidgey, Seaking, Jolteon, Dragonite, Kesley. I'm not going to go any further because I'm embarrassing myself.
You're
Wow,
embarrassing
okay.
yourself. You're impressing
At
us,
some
sir.
point, we need a sub-episode of you reading out the whole list like that.
Yes,
But for
please.
now, we're just going to do it going round, like the three of us. I'll start, and then Heather, and then Scott, and we'll go around like that until
Okay,
we get to
cool.
the end. So number one thing is water,
Number 2, NASA.
Number 3, New York City.
and then it's Berlin,
Compass.
The book 1984.
Switzerland,
Cats.
Red Pandas.
pangolins,
The 48-hour film project.
Having good teeth.
the Eurovision Song Contest,
Grilled cheese sandwiches.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
cocktails,
Porridge.
The Loch Ness Monster.
the year 1866,
New book smell.
Coffee Pods.
Coca-Cola,
Profanity.
Cocoa Pops.
old book smell,
Spiders.
Country music.
American radio stations,
Party balloons.
Gift wrapping.
straws,
Breakfast in bed.
Freshly squeezed lemon juice.
Word twist.
When a dog follows you and it isn't your dog.
Loose change in the street.
Saying goodbye on the phone.
Getting a haircut.
When you're at the bus stop and you don't know whether the person in front of you is getting on the bus.
I noticed that one.
The American tipping system.
And finally, at the bottom of the list, in pride of place, Piers Morgan.
Yay.
Yeah, that's our order of things. Thank you very much for listening to Everything versus Everything. We'll be back soon with another episode and some more ridiculous stuff. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't know why we're waving. No one can see us. It's a podcast.
James said that at the end of the first.
Did he?
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Everything vs. Everything. Today's panellists were Heather Bowery, Scott Keith, and me, Alex Perry. Visit our website at everythingbeeverything.wordpress.com, subscribe to our RSS feed, review us on iTunes, and all that good stuff. You can also check out my other silly podcast, Rainy Day Adventure Club, at rainydayadventureclub.wordpress.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.